Welcome everyone to Neverwinter on PC. My name is Reiner and today we will be releasing version 3.3 of the master worksheet, or let's just call it the workshop sheet from now on. If you enjoyed this video, please leave a like, and if you would like to see more information and videos about Neverwinter, hit the subscribe button. So, I've already released a couple of versions of this thing, and I'm excited to say that we have a new version again. I have done quite some work on this. Some of the work will not be usable for other people or for people who were already using the file, but I think I can get this file open for a much broader audience with this new version. So as always, I want to go through the change tracker where you can see exactly what changed with each version. Version 3.0 was a big version. 3.1, 3.2, and now we're at 3.3. So the first thing I did, in version 3.2 I killed the color coding a little bit because I was reorganizing the recipes. I wanted to make translations possible. So what I did, and I have a filter active at the moment as I can see here. So what I did, I made everything now color-coded again, so this is all nice and colored again. If you see any mistakes in the colors, let me know, of course. That was a lot of work. So the second thing, I reorganized this recipes tab, the masterwork recipes. So what I had at the start, there was the unlock was here in the front, the dab hand was a lot further forward. And I think that's it. I also removed some other things here as well. I think the name of the task was also here, but it's just the same as the production thing. So I also removed that because it's unnecessary. So I cleaned this up a bit, so it looks a lot more clean. The third thing, there already was a French translation in the version 3.2. I copied that translation from Personer's file, so he made a partial translation. What I did, I changed the language of the game to French, and I went over all of the recipes, all of the resources, and all of the items, and I updated that. So if I set it to French here, everything will be French, and also all of the recipes, everything here is now in French, except for some of the top parts, I guess, but it's not too bad. One nice thing I also added, which I didn't put in the README, is that the tabs now also are translated. So that's also nice if you really want to change the language of a file. Of course, the README text is not translated. I think that's a little bit too far. But what I did also is I had a very basic German language added in the previous version. It was really basic, and I made this complete now. So all of the items again, all of the recipe names, all of the also the tabs. So here you can see everything now is nicely in German. Yeah. For some reason I haven't. Oh, okay, this is not translated. Yeah, we'll get to that later. So also the tops here is in German. Everything here is in German. This was a lot of work because I had to do everything from zero. And there's a lot of recipes. The next thing is Italian. I also had some people from talk to me in Discord, and they were talking about an Italian translation. So I sat another couple days behind the computer and I made an Italian version. So here also all of the resources, all of the items, all of the tools, the artisans. Well, the artisans are typically select all. Yeah, the artisans, the names are all the same, I think, except for Russian. But the abilities and yeah, also here, and the recipes also all translate. In the meantime, I also found some translation errors. You find that when you are doing something like this. Next up, so that was Italian. I also added Russian, but Russian is something that I didn't do manually. So German, Italian and French I did myself. So I typed everything from in-game. So I know that everything that is in the sheet is called exactly the same as in-game. For Russian, I just threw all of the all of the words, all of the language items, I threw them through Google Translate, and it's probably going to be very messy. It looks really odd if you are in here, but at least I cannot read any of this. I guess some things are not translated at all, but as you can see, also all the tabs are translated. Luckily it's color coded, so I can still follow it. But this is probably wrong in many places, and I already have someone who can help me with this, and I hope he can fix the translation errors. You can do that in the languages tab, but yeah, everything has a base translation now. I also know that the artisans also have a different name, and you can also, I think in the bottom, you can give them a new name. Yeah, here are all the artisans down here. And also the recipes, of course, all in Russian, but it's probably a mess. Let's put it back to normal language, which we can read. Not that Russian is a weird language, it's just something that I can totally not read. So another thing that I included is the charcoal nerf, of course, something very known by now. I think people have known. The guild mark value charcoal is here. It used to be 16 here, it's now 0.2. So this is also something that has been nerfed, and it's also used in the sheet now. Next one, I added gold buy values for common resources. So also in the resources tab, I added this copper buy. So here you can see at the profession vendor you can buy certain resources, and I just added that for completeness. Yeah, so here this is 23 silver and 80 copper. You have to read it like that, and everything that you can buy with at the professions vendor is shown here, I think. Or did I miss one? I don't know. Then one thing that is usable for a lot of people, I added the commission cost to recipes prices. So what that means is you can add a gold price. So if you say gold is, I think on PC now worth about 400 AD. If you want this price of your commission added to your recipe, then you can select that here. I can also turn it off, of course, and then it's not added. What that does, I'll tell you. Here I added a new column with commission. So this is 1 gold, 1 gold, 1 gold. This is 3 golds. And this already takes into account which artisan you use. This is this. So here, if you have a commission, a high commission one, let's say, no, that is an adventurer. Let's say we add for the jeweler, Tresse. So right now for jewel crafting, let's filter it for a second. For jewel crafting, we already have a pretty high commission here, 2.25. What if we change this jewel crafting to Tresse? Where is she? Here she is. You can see that the commission even goes up. So this actually changes now based on which artisan you picked here. This is maybe a cheaper one. Yeah, so you can see this one is a lot cheaper. What this does is, well, the commission is always added, but what this does is add the cost of this gold in the AD used So if you use 75 silver, you have 0.75 times 400 AD, because gold is configured as 400 AD each. So you have 75% of 400 AD, so 300 AD added to here. So this is now 12, 9, 10. If I turn this off, I will go to 12, 6, 10. Exactly. So the gold cost is in here. Because gold is valuable. Gold is AD. Yes. Then one other thing, LibreOffice. I know not everyone has Excel. That's the problem. What I did in the past, I also made a Google Docs version available for people who don't have Excel, so they can still use the file. But the problem with Google Docs is you cannot edit anything. So you're missing out on many functions, like editing everything here, editing artisans, using tools. And the biggest thing is making the values here, adding these values, and getting actually your margins and net profits correctly. With Google Docs, everything is wrong. So the values that you see there, don't use them. So what I did, I actually basically mostly just checked. So if I take the version 3.3 here, it does give a warning that there's macros in there, but the macro is only for changing the language. What normally happens if you change a language, for example to French, is the tools that you use are automatically translated. So if you use LibreOffice, it will not do that macro, so these tools are not automatically translated. So you have to do that manually. For people who use the 4-channel of Gaunt, it's just the top option, so that's easy. If you use a different tool, it might be a little bit more difficult, but I don't think you're going to change the language continuously, so it's not really a big issue, I think. And other than that, right now, the document will be usable exactly the same as in Excel. So the only thing is, if you change the language, you have to change the tool name manually. But on the other hand, it's also an Excel for the arts and the supplement, because I didn't add the automatic translation there yet. That's something I still need to do. So that's mostly it. Oh yeah, I need to change the font color here before I upload the file. Other than that, yeah, and all of the colored fields, I guess. No, here's okay. So there are some fields that I still need to, here the colors are not okay, so I need to change that. README also works, of course. So that's it already. So these are all the things. You can download this new version, of course, like always, for free on my Patreon. So yeah, that's it. If you have any remarks on this video, or you have some remarks on the tool itself, do you want some features added? I have a to-do list here. If you're really looking for something in this tool feature list, or maybe something other than in this feature list, feel free to leave a comment below, and don't forget to subscribe. Thank you so much for watching, and see you in the next video.